Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Darlene Hill, and this is a storytelling segment with the one and only Terisa Griffin. How you doing?
I'm doing so amazing.
Thank you so much for this moment, for this time with you. I appreciate it. You just light up the room. You light up the camera is like, am I enough for this? Let's jump right in, though.
Okay.
I walked in and I started thinking a little bit country, a little bit city girl. Because you are from Louisiana. Louisiana gave you your roots. Chicago, we like to say, gave you your wings.
Oh, God, yes.
How do both of those places live in your voice today?
Comfortably, unapologetically, grown, which is what my project is really, it's really like the foundation of it. And that little bit of country, that little bit of city, it has kind of found a comfortable place inside of me so that when I walk on stage now, I know who I am as an artist. I believe that what I am doing is not questionable anymore. When I first came here, it was, I'm trying to kind of find myself. I'm classically trained. I'm jazz because Louisiana's jazz. I'm this. And then finally now I'm like, hey, this is who I am. They told me that I was too soulful. What do you do with her? It's been a lot of stuff. But now, it's good to be in this place.
I love it because that you've identified Terisa Griffin's voice. And the grit and the gospel is still there, though. Because those are your roots.
Yes, hallelujah. It is. I'm still, so found when it comes to God. And I think that's what has saved me. It has saved me to know that I know the Lord, to know that I can go to that place where when I really need help, I'm really proud of my foundation in God. That's what God gave. My dad gave us,
It's a gift.
You grow up with a preacher, you got 3 other sisters, everybody in the house is singing, everybody fine as I don't know what, fine as this wine we drinking. I mean, my sisters are gorgeous and they can sing. And so I never was jealous of another woman, because of that thing.
So let me rewind the tape a little bit. Was there a specific moment when you were younger where you said to yourself and your family, my voice is not just good. This is, in fact, a gift.
Yes.
How old were you?
I was 5. My dad called my older sister up to sing in church. And I was like, wait a minute, I can sing too. And he was like, come on, baby, come on. And that, that was a defining moment. My dad didn't say sit down. He said, come on. And so I always knew, because he didn't tell me to sit down, that I always had to stand up for myself, And that was powerful for him to know not to say sit down. When people think about it, we tell kids, you sit down, be quiet now. I already called that one. My dad was like, oh no, come on. And come on up. So now there's a place for you in this world. That's what that told me. That was powerful.
And you haven't stopped, because you show up on stage like that all the time. You have to, because Chicago, as you know, is a city where soul runs deep. So how did your musical DNA reshape the way that you express yourself, express your truth while you're on stage?
I think it's everything. My musical DNA takes over. I'm really an introvert for the most part. You can just give me my quality time to myself. You can give me some plants. You can give me this other stuff. But
you're cooking your dogs.
All of that. My cooking, my dogs.
My babies. Your babies.
Look, my furry children.
Right.
But you're right. And I don't need anything else. But when I hit that stage, my musical DNA becomes a beast. It takes over. It commands the stage. It says, hey, here I am. And I don't know what that is that takes over, but I am in love with that, because that personality, she has carried us through. She has taken care of us. She has put food on the table. It's something about her that I love, that I relish in, when I'm with her. And
you have these out-of-body experiences while you're up on stage.
I do.
Because I've seen you after a performance and you've got, your towels, you sweat it out, girl. It's like a workout for you out there on the stage. You do. But we appreciate you sharing that gift with us as an audience member.
I don't know what that is, but I can connect with my audience. I've always been really clear that I am there to entertain the audience, and they're not there to entertain me. They don't need to hear about my leg hurt, my foot might hurt. They come to escape. But when that synergy joins together, what they have and what I have, it's a dance throughout the evening. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's a ride I want to take my audience on. And when we get off, I want us to be like, whoo, that was a good ride.
Woo, we're talking about a good ride. A good ride. Season 3 of The Voice. That was a good ride, and it introduced you to a national audience. So I got to ask you, what did you learn about being on that platform? What did it teach you about you being resilient? What did it teach you about being on that big national stage? What doors opened for you and what doors closed for you?
Oh, it taught me something interesting. It taught me that you always need to be ready. You always need to be ready, no matter what. And that had been already instilled in me. But sometimes we get there when we get there. At first, I was like, this is a complete waste of time. And then, when you're surrounded by people who say that wasn't a waste of time, because that audience, that's a slot you couldn't have paid for. That audience that you just, now it's time for publicity. Now it's time for this. Now it's time for that. That's what I learned. When you go to these shows, it's not about who I won. It's about how you use that time when you're there and how you get that audience to fall in love with you. And I was telling someone else, a funny thing happened. I was in Sedona earlier in February, and this little girl, this little beautiful vanilla chick said, you've been here all week long and I didn't want to bother you, but are you Terisa Griffin from The Voice? And I was like, this is the cutest little girl. I was like, and at that moment, God said, and I said, when I tell you to do something, that's what you do. Because you never know, who you're touching. And that rings in. You never know who's watching you, so be ready.
While we talk about being ready, so you don't have to get ready. What did being on that national stage teach you behind the scenes? Because that's an industry that a lot of people, that's exposure that a lot of people don't have access to. Yeah. You were given that. God blessed you to have that moment. So what did you learn behind the scenes while you were there?
Wear your own shoes. Wear your own damn shoes. Wear your shoes, because you'll get a spiral fracture of the fibula. I also learned that there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of people, jobs that are back there. And I learned how to wait. You had another patient that wasn't a patient. I'd hate to waste time, but I learned to wait. And then I was like, in this waiting, what am I supposed to be doing? At the time, I was getting ready for my wedding.
Right.
And so, but I'm stuck in this hotel. I'm stuck doing what somebody else tells you to do. And this was a Job moment. You need to wait. See what it is you're supposed to see. Meet who you're supposed to meet. Yeah. Everything is not always what we're thinking. You know what I'm saying? I learned to be patient. I learned to network a little bit better. Those young people were drawn to me. I had a wonderful time with them. I had a fabulous roommate. Finally, I didn't have a roommate and I was still happy, even happier. But I learned to wait, and I learned to say what I want. And I said I want my own damn room. And I got it.
And we believe you on that one. You got it, huh?
Oh my God.
Because you were the seasoned one there. Like you said, the youngins were talking to you, asking you questions they would be asking the judge.
Well, when I first got there were older people there. But, it's just that, I was blessed to be one of the ones that stayed. And then, all of us that were in that age bracket, we got kicked out too. You could see it looked like the age was happening instead of the voice. I was like, I guess all the ages is leaving today. It was, the going joke, but the relationships are timeless.
Yeah. When you look back on that moment, do you still smile? You're look, the lashes are lashing. Okay, when you look back and you talk about season 3, and I know you just said your fans still talk about that moment with you. But do you go back and say, God, what were you trying to teach me in that moment? I know you said it was about waiting and patience, but were you a little disappointed? It's like, you brought me to the big stage. I should have won that season. We wanted you to win.
Oh, hell no. Hell to the no. No, now. I did not. I wanted to come home and get married. I really never wanted to be there, but it was an experience that I know I needed to have. Sometimes you need to step out of your comfort zone, and I stepped out of my comfort zone. But I also learned that when you don't want to do something, you shouldn't do it. When you don't want to do something, you shouldn't do it. I'm glad I did it, in hindsight. But breaking my, a spiral fracture of the fibula, that was no joke. I didn't care for, and a lot of people probably will never know this, but I didn't care for the way that Michael Bublé talked to me. And that's something that I never talk about. I didn't care for that. I loved being on Team Blake until I was on Team Blake. It was an interesting process that, to me, I'm all about being fair. And life is not fair.
Right.
But you learn things. And so in every moment, I was trying to hold on to what I needed to learn. That was it. What am I supposed to learn? Because I'm not coming back to this moment.
No, you're not.
No.
Talk about that being a pinch me moment. You had another pinch me moment when you sang backup on the Oprah Winfrey Show for the Diana Ross.
Yeah.
What? This girl from Louisiana, what is she doing up on stage like that?
I can tell you what she was doing. She was like, oh my God! Oh my God! Diana Ross is everything. Every little girl, I would say every little black girl in the United States and all over the world who has ever seen Diana Ross knows, baby love, my baby love, or I'm coming out. Diana was the epitome of everything. I mean, the movie Mahogany, so when you look at that, you're like,
my arm fell off now.
come on, she was that. I want my man, and even when you look at what she did with Billie Holiday's story,
for sure.
Diana had so many different colors to her life. And she showed us that we were beautiful,
And that we were classy.
and glamorous. When you look at her and Diana Carroll, women like that, you just, that's who you want to be. So to have Diana Ross pass me that mic it was just so, here's a stamp. There's your stamp. Someone that worked with Michael Jackson, and for her to stamp me, nobody. If Diana Ross can stamp me, who can be against me? That's what I thought. Who can be against me? I'm like Denzel Washington. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. I was all of that.
That is amazing, because when you share a stage like that, you have that kind of exposure, because it wasn't, for you it was about Diana Ross. For me it would be, of course, about being on the stage with Oprah Winfrey like that. So you're sharing the stage with greatness, with legends, and you could in that moment shrink or shine. And look at you, girl.
You say you could shrink or shine.
And how do you, I see the little girl in you, girl, in this moment right here, because that was still, I call it a pinch. That was God slapping you, girl. He was like, get ready to get ready for a big moment.
Let me tell you, Bernie Mac called me. Bernie Mac called me after that happened, and Bernie was like, baby girl. And, because Bernie was so much to me, to lose,
all of us.
Lose my friend was, this is a friend who comes back and says, I'm going to direct your first video. I'm going to direct Wonderful for you. That was Bernie. That was Bernie. So when he called and said, this was great, baby girl. And he said, now, for some people, some things take off. He said, this is our turtle race here. You run your own race. Don't let nobody get all up in your head. Run your own race. And Bernie saying that to me always stayed here. Run your own race. You're not running against anybody else. He said this race is like golf. You're only playing against yourself. And he loved to golf.
Absolutely.
So that was,
So then was it more than about being on the stage with the legends, or that conversation that you shared with Bernie that taught Terisa Griffin how to just take up space on your stage? Because you turned that into your moment, your stage. And you're still doing the doggone thing today.
Look, God was my manager then.
Ooh.
Because really, I was at a Tina Turner concert when I got that call to come and do that. And I was in Detroit at Tina Turner concert. And I was like, when Butch Stewart called me, I was like, I'm on my way. What song is she singing? Because I wanted to be ready.
Right.
And
right.
the reason.
And what song was it?
It was Only Love Can Conquer All. Only love can break down these walls. It was actually, I think she wrote the song from something with Nelson Mandela. They did the song for Nelson Mandela or something like that. But
okay.
Whatever the history of it was, I wanted to be ready. And me being prepared and ready was why she heard me, because the other singers really, these are the top session singers, in the country. And so somebody calls them, they learn this stuff on the spot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wanted to be ready. Because I didn't want to be the weak link. And she heard me sing. And we just kind of clicked in that moment. She teased me a bit. And the next day I came back, she said, I like your wig. I was like, thank you. She was the epitome of everything. And I'm so blessed that she saw me. She saw me.
When we got to shift gears and talk about you and your new hit, When You're Around Me. Yeah. It's sultry, it's soul stirring. Let's talk about this title and where all of this sexiness comes from. What chapter of life are you in, girlfriend? You got some things you want to get off your chest.
Let me tell you something. Much like you, we love being who we are.
Yes, we do.
And so we're not threatened when we find love. We know that love who we are with doesn't define us.
Right.
But it is great when they love us and they let go and they love you. And I found someone who loves my ridiculous, because I can go there.
The foolery, okay?
And he loves my freaking ridiculous. And I almost lost that during COVID when he caught COVID. That first strand, it terrified me that the person that I wanted to be a better woman for could be gone just like that. And so I was devastated. I was devastated. And when he came through this, because for a few days my husband didn't know who I was. COVID was evil.
Yeah.
Thank God that steam room that I said I needed in that house, that he was like, Teresa, do we really need a steam room? Yes.
Yes. Good. Thank goodness.
That steam room, Dr. CB, I was using everything, even my lupus medicine, because they were treating people with it. And I was like, God, you got to take him through this. This is my husband. I love him. And he came through it. And after that, he walked down the hall, Darlene. He walked down the hall and he just brushed up against me just so. Ooh. And I was like, I'll fall in love every time I'm around you. And that is how I wrote, I knew what the rest of that song. So when I started to sing it, I just was like, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, baby. Ooh, I'm falling. When I'm around you, I'm falling every time. And I think every woman should experience that at least once in their life,
Absolutely.
Ladies, don't worry about if you lose it. Just know that you are entitled to fall.
And allow yourself to fall.
Please
allow yourself to fall. So let me ask you this then. How do you, because you just hit those notes. I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling. How do you tap into that vulnerability while you're on stage and still show so much strength? Your voice is so, just you whispering the song right here. Me and the cameraman are like, dang, girl. But how do you tap into that?
That is when I'm at my best. That is when I'm most vulnerable. When I'm up there on that stage, somebody paid to forget. Somebody paid to forget all of their problems.
Take me away.
Take me somewhere else. And I want to be in that moment with my audience. I want to take them somewhere else. So I have to be vulnerable. I have to let go. And there are times that I cry through songs. Because I'm feeling it. Every lyric, which is why lyrics are so important to me. Every note, I know what that band member is supposed to play. I am in there. I want to feel all of that. I want to feel the music go through me, because I want, when I deliver that next note to my audience, I want them to know that right here I shedded a tear and we can cry together. You know, we like that song.
I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it. But it touches us all. Like even just now, you singing that. But I got to ask you, you write songs like When You're Around Me. You've got songs out there, I mean, where I've seen you do Aretha songs. I've seen you do so many. But then you come out with something like Wonderful. And your songs touch all kinds of generations. A number of generations. How do you keep reinventing yourself? How do you do that?
Your lips, your eyes, your hips, your thighs. I remember when I was driving, my mom had, bring back again. My mom had a horrible accident, pulled my sister and her kid out of the car. She had like 2 or 3 broken ribs. And thank God back then they were in California and Bernie was taping at that time. He went to check on my mom.
Oh, wow.
So when she got better, she calls me from her sister's house and this is my mom. Teresa. I said, is she whispering? Teresa, come get me. And I'm like, come and get you. Come get me. So I'm like, Mom, I'm in Vegas. I'm ready to go home. Well, home is in Louisiana.
Right.
And she can't fly. So I rent a car in Las Vegas. I drive to Bakersfield. I pick my mom up. I drive her to Monroe, Louisiana.
Oh,
that's a 2-day drive. My mom can help me drive it all. And on the drive, I play Wonderful for her. And my mom said, ooh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Who you writing about? That's going to be Jesus. Your lips, your eyes, your hips, your thighs, your cellulite, baby. My mama goes in and I'm just, and I'm like.
She felt that. That means she felt it.
She felt it. And I knew then it was a good song. Because that's, when your mom says that to you, and because my mom doesn't talk about a lot of stuff, not like that.
She felt that one.
But she felt it. And so when I wrote that, it was about what we want. We want someone to fall in love with our lips, our eyes, our hips, our thighs, no matter what they look like.
Right.
We want you to fall. And fall.
For all of me.
And fall for all of me. And that's why I say someone has to love your ridiculous in order to be with you. And when I write, I'm writing about that. I'm writing about my, if I'm lying, then I'm blind. And I can apologize if I'm wrong. I can see in your eyes as you whisper sweet lies. Your love ain't as deep as my own. Well, hell, I can believe all of that. But you can't hide the fact a verse is missing from our love song. Please tell me what to do to get back on track with you. We got to make our house a home. 'Cause lately, baby, you're acting shady. You're not the same. Hell, you're not the same. It's there.
You know what? It's so amazing. I've loved you for many, decades. We go back a long way. But, while I sit here and I chuckle, and again, I wish everybody could see the cameraman at home, but we're both sharing this look, because you go from talking to just jumping in song, and it's like you said, your ridiculousness, but the industry has not always been kind to that ridiculousness. We love you, of course, but they don't reward the independence that you have, the style of song that you have, the style that you come out on stage. So I want to find out from my girlfriend, how have you been able to just stay in this place, in your purpose, in your grit, in your grace, and you have not let them change you?
I am that I am. And that's when we talked about God, that's it. I am that I am. And when people say we don't know what to do with, how do we market her? The best thing that I could tell an independent artist, an artist that nobody can understand, invest in you. Take your money and invest in you. There is an audience for your truth. For your truth. Don't let anybody change that. When you let people tamper with your DNA, you're the only one unhappy. And I refuse for someone to tell me that there's not a place in this world for me. There is a place in this world for me, especially now with what's going on. For somebody to dare say that there's something inferior about me. There's no place for me, that I wasn't supposed to be. There is a place for me. And you cannot take that. I'm independent, I'm proud, and God is going to always fill my pockets and fill my household. He's going to feed me, because he said that, there's mansions out there.
Yeah, yeah.
There are many mansions, and I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I'll come again and receive you unto myself. And where I am, there ye may be also. Not that man, not somebody who told you
better preach.
that you cannot, shall not, won't not. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what I can't do? I'll show you. That's who I am. I'll show you.
And you've been showing them for how many years? How many decades?
And I'm falling.
All right, so wait a minute. I got to ask you when, because I'm telling you, you are so electric to me. You really are. When listeners, new and old, put on your music, hit that play button, what do you want them to feel? What do you want them? What do you want the takeaway to be? Because I just heard, even if it's a song that I've never ever heard before, but the way my girlfriend Terisa Griffin delivers it, the way she sells it, I'm like, what? I need to download that.
Look, I want them to first download More Than a Woman, because it is more than a woman. You're going to feel, if you're a man, you're going to feel this. That's why this project is more than a woman. The power,
the pain, the passion, all of that?
Everything. You're going to feel it. I want them to put it on, and I want them to go for a ride with me. And I want to be a part of their soundtrack of their life. I want to be a part of that. I want them to remember the moment that they, heard this song the same way I have, been in my car and Whitney Houston has come across the front of my head and ripped it off. I want, so to the point that I can open my mind up and feel like I felt when I was in that parking lot when I first heard her sing, I Will Always Love You. I want to do that to someone, and I want to take them all the way to their house from the time they put it on until they get to their home and they don't want to shut it off. That is what I put into this project. That is what I'm going to put into the next one. And every time I do it, I want people to ride and live with me. Ride and live, not ride and die. Ride and live.
Ride this way, ride it, keep riding it. So while it's not just about, you are not just about, there's so many layers to Terisa Griffin. I mean, I joke with you because during COVID, you helped us cook. You know what I mean? There are so many layers to you. And then, of course, there's the philanthropic side of what you're doing. And it's called Better Love Yourself. What made you create that the non-for-profit, and how you give back? Were you that college student? Were you that young lady?
I was.
Were you needed?
You know what?
Tell everybody what the organization is all about first.
The organization Better Love Yourself gives foot lockers, and I call them essential pearls, and pearls of essential for your life, for their life, for them to think about where they want to be in 5 years, where they want to be in 10 years, but also to say, I am lovable, and I love myself. I can love me unapologetically. Again, that place, it's scary when you ask people, do you love yourself? How do you love yourself? Mm-hmm. And when I read their paragraphs and what they write, you see the pain they've gone through and how they're trying to figure out how to love themselves. I know 50-year-olds that don't know how to love themselves.
Absolutely.
So to ask that question is big. So this organization is a reminder. When they get that Foot Locker, I'm like, I love you. I don't know you the way that your parents know you, but what you share with me has allowed me to know a part of you, and I love you. I love the pain and the struggle you're going through, and I love the pain and the struggle that you're going to go through.
I love the fact that you led with, in answering this question, that it's about being seen. Because like you said, it's tough for us to answer that question about how do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? But to have that love shown to from a stranger, because you don't know these people.
No.
But you're making sure that they know that you see them.
But some mothers did it to me for my church. For my church, I got a Foot Locker. I still have it. It's a gold Foot Locker. It's in my closet at home in my office. I carry that Foot Locker as a reminder that somebody loved me enough to put things together for me for college.
Believed in you so, because that's what that trunk did for us.
I believe in you, and they didn't have to. And I thank God for that. And that was it was my testimony. It is I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to let some other child know that it's okay. You know, you're gonna make mistakes, but know that you're loved.
Is there a story? Is there a trunk that you gave away 5-10 years ago, and that graduate or that person that graduated from the struggle, not necessarily from college, but from the struggle that they were in, where they came up to you and said, Terisa, you don't know how you changed the trajectory of my life because of what you did?
Darlene, I get a lot of kids, and I still call them kids. You know,
right. They were
a lot
your
of
babies.
young people,
they're
my babies. I still get a lot of them. They still text. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for loving me. You've treated me better than my parent. You know, you've been that person that I've been able to talk to. I appreciate you, Miss Griffin. I get the late night texts. You know, I even had the blessing of singing at one of my two of the kids got married, and they're grown now, but they got married. I want to say their names, Jasper and Jasmine.
Okay.
They got married, and John and I were at their wedding. We held their baby while they got married.
I saw that on your Instagram page.
You know, and I'm so proud of that, because, you know, she graduated from Spelman, and he graduated from Morehouse, and they are doing things, you know, and I'm so proud of them. And to know that I was a little part in that quilt of their life is, you know, is phenomenal. And it tells me that I am about my Father's business, that it's okay. You know, that's my Grammy, that's my Oscar. You know, who wouldn't love to have those? But that's a Grammy, that's an Oscar.
Would you say you got the EGOT?
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
You got them all.
Come on.
With that gift, of course, and that's what's most important to you. So tell everybody at home how they can help out with this mission of what you're doing with Better Love Yourself. Where can they go? If they want to donate some items or monetary.
Hey, they can go to betterloveyourself.com. I kept it simple, betterloveyourself.com. Hit the donate button, print out your letter after you donate. If you decide that you want to partner with us, give us a call. Shoot us over email at betterloveyourself@gmail.com. You know, we try to keep it right there in that brand, because that's what John taught us. Keep it there. Go ahead and reach out to us. Even if you say, Terisa, I want to give a trunk to a student. I don't know how to do it. We don't know how to put it together.
Right.
We don't want any kid to go without. So we will really help you try to facilitate that. We have a total list of things that you can put in a trunk for a student. We are right now in the process of, you know, all the gas prices went up. So our shipping went up a whole $1,000, you know, for each shipment. So we have 4 shipments. So that was $4,000 extra dollars that we had to raise.
Wow.
Our venues are in trouble because our schools aren't getting the monies, but we're still having our events.
HBCUs are in trouble.
They are in a lot of trouble.
They are in a lot of trouble.
But I am telling these kids, I am fighting tooth and nail. So if you want to donate Clorox, because these kids are going to need Clorox, we don't want them to get fungus on their feet, okay? They need to clean up the floors in the showers. I want their flip-flops, their garbage cans, their night lights, their comforter, their sheets, their towels, their pillows. I have a list of things, and I want them to have it. Their backpacks. It's a lot of stuff that they need. And the parents are already, you see a middle-class family and you think they don't need any help. But the truth of the matter is they need more help than anybody.
Yes, they do.
So
they're right there in the middle.
They're right
Make
there.
too much to get so much in Pell or scholarship. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so
the address again?
betterloveyourself@gmail.com. Or just Better Love Yourself. You can email us from there.
And we are certainly learning from somebody and talking to somebody who loves herself. So I got to ask you, last question before we run out of time. Got to ask you, if there's one artist that you would love to do a duet with, who would that be?
Oh my God!
Or even just perform, like you shared the stage many years ago with Diana Ross. Who would you like to have that moment with?
Live or dead?
Today. Ooh, I'm supposed to be asking the question. Ooh, dead or alive? Give me one of each. I'm gonna let you dig from the grave. Give me one from the grave. The duet from the grave. From the dirt.
Marvin Gaye.
Ooh.
I would love to do Distant Lover with him.
Hello. Because you've already done that, but you want to do it with him.
I want to do it with him.
Ooh.
Woo, so many miles away. How? Woo. How I long for you. His live version, baby. I want to throw my drawers every time.
Marvin, though, might be mad at you because you did something to that song, girl. When it kicks in, I mean,
the woman's perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so who would that duet be alive? With the person that's alive, still here.
Still here.
Male or female? I'm gonna have to narrow it down.
Male or female. Mm-hmm. That makes it worse. I would say Raheem DeVaughn.
Ooh.
Yeah, Raheem DeVaughn.
And what song? Do you have an idea? Or you just want to do something with it?
I literally wish we could do like genres of music, because then, you know, if it was genres of music, then I would say, gosh, you know, I would love to do something with Lenny Kravitz, because that would just make my freaking day.
Lenny, if you're out there, Raheem, if you're out there, and who would be the female artist, though, alive today that you would love to do a duet with?
Jill Scott.
My name is Jill.
Yes.
T.
I love Jill Scott.
Leave that to you.
I love her. I love the womanness of her. I love the thickness of her mind. I love her beauty. I love her grace. I love Jill.
No, I love how you got to shake it. And what do you want to say to the real ones out there riding with Terisa Griffin that you love? What do you want to say to your fans out there? Look into the camera and say it, girl.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for loving me and for always fiercely being my tea hive, even when you didn't have to. Thank you for rolling with the tea, okay? I'm going to always be here for you because you are always here for me. God bless you. God keep you. Ooh.
And thank you.
Come on, let's have a little tea time. No tea.
We don't have tea.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
thank you for this moment. We so appreciate you. We love you.
And your love.
We love you. We can't wait to see what's next, okay?
Okay, 2 more hits.
There you go. More hits.
Cheers.
More hits, no misses.